Welcome to another Founder Wisdom podcast. We have B. Jensen with us. She's an executive coach and an organizational coach certified by NYU and the John Maxwell team. 15 years of leadership and coaching experience. So, Maria slash B, welcome to the pod. Tell me a bit more about yourself and what you're up to nowadays.
Thank you, Charles, for welcoming me to your podcast. I'm basically just started my business as Life and Career Transformation LLC, and it was a transition for me from leaving a job after several years. And my mission is really to help mid career as well as midlife individuals and professionals who are searching for a more meaningful life and a more fulfilling career. And they need guidance in terms of how to create a blueprint for their life that they truly love and deserve, and also create a roadmap to get there. So that's what I do, is to help them claim the life that they truly love and deserve, because I think everyone deserves that and they're worth it. I say that from
Right.
my own experience, and I also share that belief of everyone that would like to really pursue the life they love and deserve.
Right. And what was your experience before that? Like you were working at a big company. What had you actually leave that company and start your own business?
Well, I think as we grow, we become a better version and expanded version of ourselves. And sometimes we find ourselves in a place where there's something more calling us within us and saying that I'm meant for more, I'm meant to do more. And then I also realized I have this important message I want to share with the world, message that came from my own mess. Life always teaches a lot of lessons, and it's up to us to make it a learning experience and grow from it. Or do we have a choice? Do we take the choice of letting it get us down? I choose to learn from it and grow from it. And whatever lesson I have, I would really love to share that. And one of the lessons I have is it's okay for you to claim the life that you truly love and deserve, because you're worth it. And number two is that I feel everyone has the right to ask for what they deserve, because it's their right. And number three, I also believe that everyone should believe in their own self worth, because if they don't, nobody else in the world will. And last but not least, they have to have the courage to take the step, even if it's uncomfortable, even if it's messy, even if it's unclear, to really boldly go out there and claim that life that's meant for them, that's going to make them fully alive and joyful and really enjoy, in, you know, just fulfilled. And that's what I felt when I was in my job for so many years, because there's always a sense of something else is missing. I'm not fulfilling my true purpose in life. So I think that's something we all should listen to. Would I recommend we listen to, because that's the only way you can become alive and feel alive and on purpose.
And in your specific case, so you stayed at a job for a very long time, and for how long first? And what did you feel? Why did you finally took the step to launch your own business? And is that what you mean by your own purpose? It's being independent and launching your own business?
Well, it's more of the discovery of what my life's purpose is and what my true passion is, and being aligned with that. But what happened is, up until a couple of years ago, I have a long history of always not recognizing my own value. And because I came from a culture, I came from a third world country where resources are limited. And one of the values I learned from my life, especially when you come from a family of 9 children and resources are limited, one of the things we learn early on in life is you can't afford to just think about what you want. You have to think of the bigger community. And if you make too many demands for yourself, that means resources will be limited for the rest of the community. So that's it. The idea of consciousness, social consciousness, and being generous in spirit and being others oriented. We were also taught when we were younger that you should not blow your own horn. Okay. You should wait for others to recognize your value. You don't go around telling people that, oh, you're great, you're worth it. wait till somebody recognizes it, because otherwise it's just you, it's just ego, right? And then also don't make too many demands, and because it's being selfish. So those are the things that I learned as growing up in my country, in a third world country. When you when I came to the United States and I landed in New York City, it's a totally different culture, right? Everybody is out for themselves. Whoever is the loudest, whoever asks in the most demand and with the most conviction, will probably get heard and will probably get what they want, and that's usually what happens. So I found myself in a situation where, staying in my own value system, I began to feel undervalued, unrecognized, and to some extent unappreciated. And I just felt there's something not right with the way I'm looking at the world. Everyone else around me was much younger, less tenured, probably less experienced, were getting ahead of me in the corporate ladder much faster than I could imagine. And they were getting what they wanted because they knew how to ask for it, they demanded for it, and they got it. And so one day I thought, maybe I'll go out there and ask for something that I want. And basically, I was turned down. And the effect on me is that I felt so belittled and so humiliated and really totally unappreciated, that my initial reaction was just to go home, go under the sheets, and cry my heart out. And then at one point, I was really, really ready to quit. I said, what's the point of trying so hard and working so hard to tell the world that I'm worth something, and then hope that I would be rewarded for it, okay, and not get it? And so it gives me a feeling of being undervalued and just unseen, unheard, and unrecognized. So I was ready to quit because I was disappointed and hurt, so hurt. But there's a little voice in me that said, no, 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 you're not going to let this beat you. This has to stop, okay? If it's meant to be, it's up to be. So I cuff up enough courage within myself that, you know what? If nobody else believes in my worth and nobody else wants to invest in me, that's okay. Now it's up to me to invest in myself. So what I did is I invested in a program that taught me how to think bravely, how to act boldly, and really believe in my own self worth and my own dignity as a human being. And it's interesting because as I applied the principles that I learned from the system, I saw myself improve personally, my health improved, my communication became clear. I was getting better at articulating what it is that I needed and I wanted. And I still maintained the respectfulness that I was taught. And then, most of all, is that I found an inner strength growing in me, an inner knowing that said, I'm on the right path. I'm worth it. And my mindset is starting to change. I begin to see my own value as a human being, and I began to respect my own dignity. And it became stronger within myself to say, it's up to me to believe in my own self worth. And I can't spend the rest of my life waiting for others to give me permission or approval or validate what I'm worth. And the best part of going through that training, Charles, is that I finally got the offer for a promotion in that very job. And this time, I found myself saying, I'm only going to accept this promotion on my terms. Number one is I'm going to work from home because my family is top priority. Number two, I will do what I love the most because I feel this is where I can make the most impact. And that's coaching. Because for me, coaching is accompanying a person in a journey to their own self discovery of their own greatness and their worth. And the third and most important term that I lay down is they better pay me what I'm worth because I believe I deserve it. And Charles, guess what? They agreed to all my terms. So this works. This transformation works. And I got so excited and I said, I can't imagine how many other people like myself are go through the experience in life where they feel undervalued, unappreciated, and unrecognized, unheard, and unseen. And how can I be of help by sharing my experience to them? How can I be of help to them in terms of encouraging them that they have greatness in them, they have value, and they have dignity, and nobody else has the right to step on that. And that's why I said, it's not enough that I stay stuck in this job. I have to go take the risk and step into what I'm being called to do. It's a big risk, right? Leaving the stability of a job, the security. It's scary, especially in these difficult times. But it's a risk worth taking, I believe, because when I'm at the end of my life and I ask myself, did I fulfill my purpose? I can never forgive myself if I look back and I stayed stuck, afraid to take the risk, and never fulfilling or touching the lives of those I could have helped and touched along the way. And that for me, I can't live with that. I would rather take the risk, probably take the financial struggle in the beginning, but I have faith. I have faith that if I really believe in my mission and my purpose, and I really live it out fully, everything will fall into place. Everything will come
Right.
into fruition.
And your country of origins, would that be Philippines?
Yes. How did you know?
I did. I work with Filipinos, and that's what they're taught. Unfortunately, like this country really stands out as like order takers most of the time, and just like stay in the ranks. And it's very sad to me. That the other thing that is, well, I mean, it's not sad, but I think another revolution that people need to undertake is go from job to becoming entrepreneurs, because I'm not sure if there's going to be jobs in the AI age. I think that's a risk that people need to take. And if you have a job, you're making a sacrifice. It's like, okay, you'll have this salary, you have this quote unquote stability, but they can fire you at any time they want. They can shout orders at you, they
Mhm.
can belittle you. So I think life is pretty good at equilibrating thing, if that's even a word, like centering things. Okay, you want to take that, but you'll receive that, or vice versa. So do you also like push people to be more entrepreneurs? And yeah, do you think like AI is gonna take a bunch of jobs in this new era?
Yes and no. It's an augmentation at this point. It's I was in a training last week. I was learning a lot, and I a caveat, okay, disclaimer. I'm not the most tech savvy person in the world, but whatever I learn from just listening to people who have the expertise. And I'm also trying to experiment my way with the AI because this is the world is turning into a digital world. We have no choice but to learn it, right? So I believe that as long as we instill the proper safety measures and we still are responsible for um, let's say inputting the data within AI, there's still some control on our part. But what I have learned from all the talks that I've attended is that AI is growing exponentially so fast, and really it's assimilating information so quickly that there's a danger that human beings may find themselves left behind because it cannot cope with the speed with which AI accumulates that information. And yes, there are developments right now where they're training humanoids to serve food, to do laundry. That's part of the presentation that I saw, and then to even this driverless services that will be a threat to Uber and taxi drivers. That's an example. Yes, there is a threat of that, and people relying and investing more in AI. And one of the things I also learned is that there have been a lot of venture capitalists that have invested in places like MIT, so that AI generated businesses are growing exponentially, and they're mostly run by younger generation, 20 to 24, and maybe to 35-year-olds. So older generation is probably going to feel further and further away in terms of being able to access this, because this is going so quickly that I don't know, like, the older generations may be able to cope with it. And that's if that's going to be a prerequisite for getting into the job market, it's probably the younger generation who are up to speed and be able to keep it. And then it may not happen in my time, but it could happen in my granddaughter's time. Yes, in fact, that's one of the jokes that we have, is like, when I was asking my granddaughter to help me fix the trying to tinker with the computer, I said, "Grandma, how difficult could this be?" Because everything technology is second nature to the younger generation today. So they may still be have jobs for them, because if they are AI leaders, AI generators, AI creators, that there will be jobs for them, definitely, because they answer they understand the language. For people like us, it may be difficult. We may be left behind.
And what are tips for empathy? Like for someone that's tech savvy like me, that's really entrepreneurial. How do I actually stop and listen and be like, yeah, like be more heartfelt rather than brain connect and be like, yeah, you should do this, and that, right?
Task oriented.
Yeah.
I'm glad you asked the question, Charles, because that's one of the concerns that I have in terms of with the social media becoming a main platform for really showcasing and expressing themselves. There's a danger of the desire to put on a different persona out there versus who you really are. And because of that, there's also a danger of not being able to stay in touch with their own humanity and their own emotions. And unless you become aware of who you are, and unless you learn the art of managing your own self, there's a danger that you become so caught up with just technology, and it becomes a main part of your life, that you have forgotten to learn the art of being sensitive to other people's needs, the art of empathy, compassion, and because you're just so used to things getting done. The also art of being patient with other people, which is very important in building and nurturing relationship. So my concern is that unless they learn this in some other way or form in terms of developing empathy, compassion, and sensitivity to other people's needs, it might hurt not only them in terms of being aware and unaware of their own emotions and managing it well, and it might also hurt them in terms of their relationship with other people. So I think they need to take time to really communicate, I think, is the key that could connect the younger generation with the older generation, like ourselves.
Because if we take Elon, for example, right, like very impatient, very IQ oriented, and claims that he wants to help humanity, but when you check his interactions with humans, it's pretty clear that he doesn't care, or maybe that sometimes he loses track of why he's doing all of that, if there was really a reason, right?
Mhm.
Um, and you don't really want to become like that. You want to be very high IQ to help humanity, but you also want to be very EQ oriented and kind, to bring back all that value back to humanity, right? So, how do I keep my foot on the grass on my side? Like, because also EQ can sometimes slow you down, right? Like, oh, I need to slow down to so that they can understand what I'm doing to bring that back to them. I feel it can be sometimes a disadvantage as well for progress. And on my side, arguably, I work with wealthy people that already have made it, right? Like I don't
Mhm.
work with people that start from zero. You need to have money to pay for my service. They need to be smart already, right? So I'm afraid I'm sort of losing EQ points the faster I advance.
Yeah. Yeah. And no matter, see, I think it all boils down to people really don't care how much you know. People just want to know how much you care. Okay.
Yeah,
Because
yeah, for sure.
that's, we
They
all
want to feel
share.
heard.
Yes. They want to be, people want to feel heard, seen, appreciated, and valued, and most of all, loved for who they are. And different stages. Yes, you could be the smartest, um, 200 IQ person who could develop the most advanced technology in the world. But if you have not even a moment to comfort the person sitting next to you who needs just your attention or hug from you, and you don't even realize that, that's a moment lost. Okay. Or you don't even understand why your teenage kid is yelling and ranting and raving, and you don't know how to deal with it because you you don't know how to deal with those outbursts of emotions. You haven't dealt with it yourself. But all your child is asking for is a hug and an assurance that they are seen and loved. That's a common human experience that I think will never go away, no matter how advanced we are. The need to be appreciated, it's part of Maslow's hierarchy of needs, right? Once we've met our basic needs for food, shelter, and then the safety and security, we start searching for something more meaningful. And the only way we can fulfill that is, ironically, when we start thinking of something and someone bigger than ourselves, and when we start thinking of others, then we can generate a sense of fulfillment that I was at the right place at the right time and I did make a difference. It may not be measured in terms of monetary gain. It may not be measured in terms of, mansions, but it can be measured in terms of another person feeling that they were valued at that very moment. And for me, that's priceless.
Yeah, for sure. And general artificial intelligence will take note of that, and it will take actions in account. Like it won't take what Elon said. It will take what Elon did, right? Um, and if it does take that into account, it won't be super kind. It won't be super helpful. And when you're arrogant as a human, now imagine a machine that's a million times smarter than you. Will it stay kind to us? It won't. So I think it's very important that we stay kind, so that this machine that we will create, that is like a kid, but a kid that will outpace us a million times.
Yeah,
I think it's really important that we teach it, and not only teach it, right, but we embody and we act upon these values. I think that's really important for humanity, and I think a
yeah.
lot of people are losing track of that. B, thank you for being on the podcast today. Where can people find out more about you and your company?
The lifecareertransformation.com. That's my website. And I'm also in LinkedIn, B Jensen, and also in Facebook. So if you want to search me and Google me under B Jensen, that's also all there. All my LinkedIn, my YouTube, they're all there. And I have a free gift. So if you look at my website, livecareertransformation.com, if you stroll at the home, at the bottom is a free gift that all of you can access. It's how to create abundant mindset in your life.
Thank you so much. So that was B Jensen and Charles Cormier for another